Oh my gosh.
Warning, viewer discretion is advised. Hello, and welcome to Avid Movie Fans. Today I'm going to do our first ever review of a TV show. Today is called The Shining Vale. Let's get right into it. So I wrote down what I'm going to say because I have a lot to say, seeing as this is 2 seasons of a TV show instead of just a few words review for... Here's the premise. After a lonely and desperate housewife, who is also seemingly an untalented writer, suffering from severe writer's block, has an affair, her husband buys her a house in Shining Vale and moves the family out of Brooklyn. Once they're all moved into the new house, Pat, the unhappy housewife, starts to experience either ghosts or has a very late in life introduction to schizophrenia, which seems largely inaccurate because schizophrenia generally starts in the mid to late 20s, though it can start later, but generally up to the mid 30s. Let's be honest, I love Courtney Cox, but she's not in her 30s anymore. But please, let's also confuse the issue further by making a lot of unrecognized movie references. There's a lot of references to The Shining in the first season and Rosemary's Baby in the second season. And also introducing some new things that I had never heard of, like geriatric pregnancy, which seems rather vulgar, and the concept that depression causes hallucinations. I don't know if that's accurate. That's something I would have to look into. It seems like fodder for poor life choices or a perfect environment for gaslighting, which there is a ton of that in this show. Let's get into the cast of characters. I should probably mention that none of the characters in this show, big or small, is likable. They're all awful people. We'll start with the family. And let's be honest, I'm only going to talk about the family. I'll get into why in a moment. We're going to go youngest to oldest. So we'll start with Jake, the youngest child who does nothing to add to or drive the plot forward in any way, or at least not in any interesting way. He is the perfect representation of a spoiled brat who only receives positive reinforcement and zero accountability for his actions or punishment, leading him to have some awkward and uninteresting and cringe-worthy storylines. Also, I don't know if the actor is just inexperienced or making uninteresting choices as an actor, or it's bad direction from the director, but I couldn't care less about his story arc. Enough said. Gainer. My least favorite character, maybe in any show ever produced. Ever. So yay, another pretentious, disgruntled, angsty, spoiled brat. So unoriginal, and in a show that is almost mischaracterized as a comedy, not funny. Again, only positive reinforcement and zero accountability, which, by the way, in my opinion, breeds monsters and sociopaths. She is such an unlikable character and an ungrateful, vapid bitch that every time she's on the screen, I fight the urge to skip forward to the next scene. Other shows that have tackled the difficulties of navigating parenthood and mental illness have handled it far better. The first one that comes to mind would be the United States of Terra, which On that note, zero LGBTQ plus representation. Absolutely none. At least in the United States of Terra, the son who comes out as gay early on in the series also seems to play the part of the moral compass of the show. Anyway, moving right along. Terry. What can I say about him other than the fact that he is your stereotypical piece of shit, terrible gaslighting husband slash neglectful father slash self-indulgent douchebag. Spoiler alert, at some point in the series, he suffers from a traumatic brain injury and suffers from temporary amnesia. Yep, that's right, folks. The overused and perfect example of terrible writing trope that your creative writing teacher all told you never to use is the cliffhanger of the first season. He conveniently forgets which one of them has the affairs, because there's multiple, and when he thinks it's him, he is so thankful and so grateful to his wife for being so understanding and forgiving. And then in a New York minute, he decides to leave his wife when he discovers it was actually her that had the affair. Yeah, a real piece of shit, who teeters on the edge of having his own affair throughout the entire 2 seasons that have aired. Just so you know, condemning your wife for having an affair while toying with the notion of having your own affair and also enabling yourself to continue to exist in that toxic environment where you leave yourself open to succumbing to the object of your lust due to remaining at that job that you work with her and then getting fired from that job and then going to work with her, putting yourself back into that toxic environment. It makes you a low-life scum, in my honest opinion. Side note, I loathe the addition of the storyline of not being a supportive husband with her sobriety while embarking on his own newfound coke habit. Good thing he's played by the ever charismatic Greg Kinnear, or he would probably be my least favorite character in the show. Let's get into Pat, or Patricia. Look, as a fan of all things paranormal and also someone who openly suffers with his own mental health issues, thanks to the great amount of love, respect, and admiration I have for the late Carrie Fisher, who openly discussed that she was battling with, and also she spread awareness of her own struggles with mental illness. So I've decided, because of her and because of my love for her, I will never suffer in silence again, but that's just me. Anyway, look, as someone who has a vested interest in both of these topics, the paranormal and mental health struggles, I thought I would for sure love this show. But to the creative writers of this show, it's time to shit or get off the pot. Is it a ghost that the main character is seeing? Is it a demon? Is it mental illness? Is it all 3 of these things? Anyway, back to Pat. I always love Courtney Cox and everything she does, even that short-lived Dirt TV show. I've been watching her in movies and TV shows since Masters of the Universe, and she never disappoints. But that very fact might be the only reason I'm still invested in this show and willing to endure this dumpster fire of a TV show. I'm only hoping that it gets better, that they introduce an LGBTQ plus character. We also need someone with a moral compass on the show. Maybe the queer character could be the moral compass. I know a perfectly good homoflexible actor right here that is willing to step up. Hint, hint. Anyway, and we either need soon a clear definition of what uh, the show is actually dealing with, or at least better representation for dealing with mental health crisis, drug addiction, or possible demonic possession, if there is good representation for that made-up concept. Anyway, no other characters are worth mentioning because they are unimportant, uninteresting, and only exist to temporarily move the plot forward or fill out the space and make the universe of this lackluster television series seem more realistic. Kind of like an NPC character in a video game or background ambience in a dream that you unfortunately can't seem to wake up from. However, special shout out to the actress Judith Light. I'm always happy to see her pop up in movies and TV shows, going all the way back to Who's the Boss. Here's hoping they use her character. I'm sorry. Here's hoping they use her uninteresting character in season 3 as more of a complacent, pill-pushing burnout who seems to have the only purpose of, again, filling out the universe and kind of serving as comedic levity type character, but the jokes are always falling flat. Jury is still out on the Mira Sorvino character of Rosemary, because that character has no clear definition or purpose other than to confuse the plot, it seems. Her acting, as usual, is above average and getting better all the time. She also has the honor of being the only character in the entire show at this time who has my interest, and I'm actually curious to see where she takes us, which is probably the other reason that I haven't yet pulled the ripcord on this show. Anyway, so at this moment, I would have to say I give this show a huge thumbs down, but for some reason, I'm still invested, whether it's Courtney Cox, whether it's the confusing ghost, demon, mental illness manifestation character that Mira Sorvino plays, or hope that they raise better awareness and get better representation into this show. Other than that, what do you think? Have you seen this show? Are you interested in seeing this show? What do you think could make the show better? What works? What doesn't? Leave your comments below. And as always, please like, share, comment, and subscribe to our channel. Enjoy the rest of your week or whenever you're seeing this. Have a great day and look forward to more videos.
Zoom.